Tess and Cinderella here.
All for you.
So cute.
One on one.
So cute. Okay, so
One on two.
One on two. One on two. One on two on three in the background. Okay, so we're coming off of a really beautiful woman's circle. It was so powerful, so gorgeous. You two both are in the metaphysical world, spiritual world, growth, coaching, human design. So I had a question for both of you.
Yeah.
So the women's circle, Cinderella guided it, and we had our closed guests. Cinderella really wanted us to tap into like our womb and the power of the womb and the flame and moving that through. Can you just kind of explain more in depth like what our womb power is as women and that energy and that light? Go.
Okay, yeah. I feel that our power, our creative energy, our sexual energy is all in our sacral chakra, is in our sexual.
No, I love the sexual energy.
Yeah. But I mean, it's our chakra, our sacral chakra. Yeah, our sexual.
Yeah.
Is it our sexual energy center?
I think that
Is
our
that how we do it?
sexuality, like I just read a thing the other day that said, if you're not horny, you're not healthy. And I'm like, that makes sense because when your sexual energy isn't working properly, like you're not creative. You're not in the mindset to like go create, which is what we're here to do, you know?
Yes.
And
true.
that energy is what fuels that. So I
Yes.
totally think it's sexual energy.
Yeah. Sexual energy. Yes, absolutely. And in our womb is where we house our power and where the seed of existence lays in. From there, we give birth to new humans. So I would say the whole universe exists in there. That's the place of creation. And we can hold on to emotions and traumas in there, in that place. So it's super important to connect with that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And feel our feminine energy from deep inside the womb, because that's our power as women. And like the breathing exercises that we did yesterday is like breathing in through the yoni, through the birth canal, all the way up into the womb, and nurture that area and just see what comes up when we focus on that and strengthen and replenish. So
I loved it too.
womb healing is super powerful.
And I feel like I could feel the healing for my kids because like that's where they were born, you know, like that's where I'm from. So it's like there was all this energy and all the being a teenager and pregnant and all the emotions, and like there was just so much surrounding that my kids had probably for sure absorbed. And so being able to go in and heal that and release some of that energy, I think is healing for your kids and your parents.
Totally, yes, generational.
Mm-hmm.
And we accessed it through also making very primal noises, like the roar and the release, and using the voice and that activation to to access.
Okay,
that
so I
deeper.
have to interject on that because you two are so powerful when it comes to your breath work and your primal guttural yells and your primal guttural like let it out. And that's even though we were in a very private space and we knew each other, we all knew each other, we all have a beautiful connection. But even just to like all of your subscribers know what a primal scream or guttural like growl is. But you guys are so good at it, and so it makes the group feel comfortable too. Yeah. And then especially because you can hear it almost like coming from like your womb. And like you said, like the power of the yoni, and there's a lot of artists who like sing about powerful, beautiful, feminine energy in your yoni, and like it just. I would love for you guys to do a crazy YouTube podcast video of you doing your primal screams.
I'm in.
And your breath work, because you guys are so good.
Yeah, I feel both of us are comfortable in the space. Like there's no shame on it.
No
I
shame.
think we are pretty well connected to the authentic self.
Yeah.
And to just open up and release. But I have to say, when I was younger, that was not like that. I was sitting in a regular yoga class and even doing an om was like,
scary.
Yeah, like, oh my
it was
God,
definitely
what is
learned
this?
through doing it.
Yes, yeah.
And you realize,
repetition.
like, you sit in a class and someone else does it good, and you're like, why can't I do that? That's scary,
Yeah.
you know? And then you're like, I just need to let it. And when you finally let it go, you're like, wow, that feels
So
good.
liberating.
Okay, like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're I think comfortable in that space.
I love that. Okay, so you guys are both so different, but what makes you vibe so magically together?
Gosh, wow, that's just magic.
Sisters from another lifetime.
Yeah, just very strange. Sometimes you meet people and, there is no barricade. There's no wall up. There's no pretending or keeping it formal and neat. It's just like, you instantly have a heart connection.
Yeah.
I feel that's what we had.
I think so too.
And we just roll with it.
What's your main passion and focus, Cinderella? And then same question for Tess. Because then we'll merge them together.
As far as like the work that we do?
The work that you do.
Oh, the main passion is to empower women, and that can be done in many, many ways. So they find their inner spark again. They feel alive. It's a certain feeling of happiness and drive, knowing that is your power. And so also your passion. I feel like if you walk through life without the spark, without feeling passionate about something, then you feel numb.
Yeah.
And a lot of women are searching for that, right? Society trains them to go to school, get married, get a job, and then apparently that's the recipe for being happy and successful. But then
no one that does it is happy and successful.
No, so then they come to us. Yes. You're 30, you're 40 years old, and you're like, but I did everything by the book.
Yeah, why am I not happy?
I'm not feeling it. And then I'm like, okay, let's get to the bottom of it. Who are you? And once you connect to your authentic self, the passion, the purpose, the spark, you feel empowered and you shine.
Authentic self, that's huge.
Yeah.
Authentic self. Okay.
But if I may interrupt,
yes, please do.
Girl.
We first got to address a bit of the trauma that is blocking getting there.
Are you sure?
Yes. So yeah, people see, you're so good with trauma.
And me.
Yeah, they say, you help them move, break free of trauma and stress and do all that, but it has a purpose to eventually feel.
I love that.
Yeah.
So deep dive into more what you're doing, Tess.
Yeah. So I like the empowering women part. I think that's what we're here. I think that's what we're here to do. Like, we came here to like wake people up and say, like, we're strong. We like give life. Like, we have so much more than just go to school, have kids, buy a house, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I feel like it really starts with self-love. And which a lot of times you need trauma work to get through self-love, but I do focus more on like mindset and purpose work. Like, what are you here for? Like, why did you come here? How do you align with being that person so that you feel fulfilled and lit up? Because when people are fulfilled and lit up, life doesn't feel hard anymore. It doesn't feel like...
Yes. And work doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, yeah. You no longer call it work. It's just like, I'm just doing my purpose stuff,
Yes.
like,
Doing what you love.
Yeah. And everyone's capable of having that. I just think they get so locked in a box, like, yeah, but I make this much money. Like, how would I, like, go do what I want to do and still have this? And there's just so many ways to get to that point. But I think you have to love yourself and feel worthy enough to do it. Mm-hmm. And, like, real self-love. Not, like, I get massages and get my pedicures.
Real self-love.
Like, I love me. I love everything about me. When I look in the mirror, I love, like, that's, I mean, I do love me, but that's not what I was saying. But, like, making that, like that feeling inside of you where you're so excited about who you are that you're like, you can't even hurt me with your words because I know I'm amazing.
Yeah.
And when people have that kind of power, they show up differently. They show up differently for their coworkers, their friends, their family, because they're not triggered by every single thing that happens. And so they're actually able to, like, live this authentic, joyful life. So that's where I like to start and then move into what's their purpose and, like, how do we get them aligned with their path. And I use a lot of human design and astrology. And I just started digging into soul charts. Mm-hmm. Is that the one that you do as soul contracts? No.
I for me specifically, I've been doing soul realignment.
Yes, that's right.
So accessing the Akashic records, creating a soul profile, looking at the karmic, soul stories and clear the blueprint.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't do much with that anymore.
No, that's okay. I think both of us have so many modalities.
Yes.
Because I think that's part of the self-knowing experience is like you try one thing and you're like, okay, I like it, but I'm probably never going to do it again, or I'll pull it out from time to time.
Yes.
Maybe one client needs it and you're glad you have it in your back pocket. But
True.
there's just so many like I do past life healing and past life readings and then energy healing, but I never really do it unless a client needs it and we're like in that energy. Or I work with the goddess realm, like I'll pull goddesses in if they come out and like that's something that happens during a session, but usually it's like more of we're focusing on them and what they need and what their goals are.
Yeah, and if you customize for each client, and it's so amazing to have a backpack full of tools and certifications because you customize it, you tailor it to what they need. And I think also on a path of our own transformation and development, yes, you are maybe first very interested in the manifestation and the mindset, and then maybe you move through like, oh, but now I'm interested in soul work, and what does that mean? I want to get, experienced in that, so that you gather all of that, and that's how my journey has been as well. And today I ended up more into, hey, what is the modern science, neuropsychology, combining with ancient wisdom, and having the modalities of meditation, breath work, sound healing. These are my main forms that I like to focus on now.
Yeah.
But there's no end.
No, there isn't. And I think if people just take it, like I think people look at it and go, I wish I could do that. Like I feel like I'm supposed to, but I don't even know where to start. If you just start something, if you just learn astrology or just learn human design or just learn one modality, it starts aligning you, and then all of a sudden different things like I didn't even know what human design was until I went down a rabbit hole of astrology, and then that popped up, and it's like wherever you're focused, like more things will come in, and then you'll just go find your path.
And so be it.
Yeah.
I think it comes in line too because and I actually need to like redo my human design with you because you did my human design 2 years ago, and so it's like I know my purpose. I'm already a really strong manifester that I started in my early 20s, and then it's like, well, man, I'm doing really good. I know my purpose. I know my purpose. I know my purpose. But I never really addressed the trauma. I never addressed my life traps. Enter Cinderella. And so it's like constant growth, right? Yeah. Because like today, it's like, oh, wait, my astrology we talked about today. Okay, I really need to go back and revisit my astrology, revisit my human design, because I know you can get really advanced and in depth. And so then it all works together. And I think something that's huge that we're constantly reminding each other of, as amazing and powerful as you guys are, anyone who knows this voice knows it's Lolo, is words. Like, I'm huge about words. Like, we have Barbie girl, and it's like, we're amazing, we're powerful, we're beautiful, and words. Yeah. And so I think it all comes together so hugely.
Yeah. No, I love that.
What do you want to touch on? What's coming through for you just intuitively?
Well, I was going to say, funny you say intuitively, is that I think what makes what we do so special is that we're both tapped into our intuition.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people, like, they'll read cards, but they won't intuitively do it. They'll just read the knowledge. That's not giving, like we're accessing information from the other side, from our higher self, from the client's higher self, that is super important for them to, like, access in order to change or to move into what they want to be. And I think people love it. Like, I always wished I could find a counselor that was psychic, because I was like, how nice would that be if they could actually tell me if that would work or not, And then when we started seeing healers, my kids, I would because I was like, counselors aren't working. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I started finding healers, and I was like, these are psychics that do counseling. Like, and then, I worked into that realm. And so I think that what we do is so special because of the intuition, and we all have it. It's a muscle that you flex, right? Mm-hmm. So that's another thing I can teach, but I don't unless it comes up in something that you want to do. But I don't know where I went, but that's my thought is in the intuition. The people you're working with, it's so important that they're actually using their intuition and bringing that information into you that's for your highest and best good. Because sometimes the human brain is like, well, you shouldn't do that. That doesn't make sense. But intuitively, you can go, yeah, it does. Oh, well, that's what they're supposed to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of us have fear or blockages in trusting their intuition.
Yeah.
They might have a gut feeling because the gut feeling is literally in the body, so it's a little easier to feel.
Yeah.
But intuition comes through the third eye, and that can come up in all different, you know, clairvoyance, hearing, seeing, smelling, and that is a skill that we all have. But you can, like she said, flex it. You can develop your intuition.
Absolutely.
So you can be your own guide,
Yeah.
your own shining light on your way. And of course, sometimes it's hard to really see a clear path and answers for yourself. So, you know, I would still go to Tess.
You use it when you start bringing friends in, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're on that path, all of a sudden you meet all these other people that are, and it's like, oh my gosh, now we can like share our wisdom, share our gifts, and we all evolve because of this shared space. You know, it's bigger when there's more people involved. I was thinking of something else about that. What was it? Dang.
With
Next.
gifts,
Right.
intuitiveness.
I don't know.
Okay, well, if
Lost
it
it.
comes back up, yell it.
I'll yell it.
Yell
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Gut yell.
Yeah.
But, so, okay. Okay. Okay, so question Cinderella.
Yeah.
And I love this. This is so candid. So, like, I love that we're, like, doing this. Okay. So, when you say gut instinct, because this is something I'm working on with you right now, is I'm working on how I get my intuitive downloads. And so, I can't tell the story on camera, but I told you guys a story last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got that download. But it wasn't a gut feeling. So, please explain in a short version gut feeling and your intuition.
Yeah, so gut feeling would be a physical sensation in the physical body, like you get a knot in your stomach, or you know you get nauseous, or you get a cramp. So you get some physical sensation that would indicate, ooh, okay, not good. This doesn't feel good for me, right? But intuition comes in through like visions, a knowing that you could almost mistaken for like a thought or a daydream. So it's you have to be really fine-tuned and totally trust yourself that is something else speaking. It's guidance, divine guidance, and that is, I would say, the difference between the two.
And an ongoing practice for sure.
And an ongoing practice, same with healing energy. If I would practice Reiki or pranic healing, it's like, you know, you haven't used the tap for very long. You first want to, you know, open the tap to let it rinse and flush through for a few minutes before you would start drinking out of it, right? And that's the same with us, with if we use our hand palms to channel divine healing energy, the more you do it, the stronger the flow becomes and the clearer of a channel you become. So yeah, it's all practice, and there are exercises for the intuition that you can do, really focusing on your third eye and seeing certain shapes and colors, and there's great things that you can do to pick up on the so-called downloads, the information that's coming through. And for every person, it comes through differently.
Yeah.
It does.
How does it come through for you mostly?
Well, to add to that, in human design, certain people are supposed to use either their gut intuition or for me, I'm an emotional. So I'm supposed to listen to my emotions, but all emotionals need time to process. And so like I shouldn't make a big decision like quickly because I'm supposed to like feel what it feels like. And this was so hard for me because as a Capricorn moon, I think everything's supposed to be logical. I train myself like emotions are unintelligent. Like you make decisions from facts, which is absolutely completely out of alignment for who I'm here to be.
Yeah.
And so then I had to retrain myself that like my emotions are real. They're guiding me. Like it's okay to fall into them and to listen to them. But if you have to make a fast decision, then you go to your next one. So for me, my next one's my gut. So then I listen to my gut. But there's gut, there's want. So if they have an ego center that's their authority, then they would go off like what they want is actually what's right for them. If it's, there's one mental one. So only like 3% of the world is supposed to make decisions based off like facts. Isn't that so crazy? And we all do it, but only 3% are actually supposed to be. And then like there's one that's your spleen center, which is about that voice in your head, which anyone who has it colored in has that. But I think that's why people get it differently, is because depending on their human design, it's like where it's like coming through at. I wish I knew your guys' charts off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
I'm an emotional also.
Okay.
You are okay then.
Emotional and
Okay.
gut, because non-emotionals I can't relate to.
Yeah.
So it was emotional and then gut, and I think I was getting gut and knowing mixed up. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, is this my gut feeling? A knowing, but when you go into that of like the cramps, the nausea, maybe I think people's energy will do that to me. But oh Lord, here comes that ache.
Great.
But now that you break it down like that, yes, with the human design and
Yeah.
your intuition, and it's practice, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't pop up like overnight.
No.
You just have to really tune into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless people have such, I would say, a spiritual awakening,
Such
being
an
from
awakening.
so dorm to, oh wow, suddenly I'm
Yeah.
blasted open.
Yeah. Which
Then-
can be scary.
Yeah. And that didn't happen to me like
Me
that in
neither.
life.
Do you think, okay, going back to that, like people that are maybe we say naturally gifted or who were blasted open,
Yeah.
do you feel like I know sometimes it's a choice and sometimes it's not a choice. Like, what do you feel with that? When people are, I do feel like they've gone through ceremony to do that. They've gone on DMT journeys.
I have 2 examples
Oh,
of
yeah.
crazy ones. So
This is great for clips.
yeah, so I was working with a guy who, a friend of mine got diagnosed bipolar, and I didn't believe they were bipolar. Like, I think mental illness is like super overdiagnosed.
Absolutely.
But they didn't believe it either. And if they don't believe it, then I really believe that they're right, because you can feel it in you, right? And so I had found this guy in South America who never had any sign of mental illness ever in his whole life. He's like in his 30s, and he's in the middle of like, I don't know, he was in the middle of like somewhere, whether it was work or something, totally freaked out, took off all his clothes, like ran to the top of the building. The cops followed him, like he's never acted like this in his life. Like just like this weird freak out thing. And they diagnosed him bipolar, tried to give him all this medicine, and he was like, when he got out of it, he was like, I don't know what just happened, but that wasn't like, I don't know what, something weird happened, you know, I'm not bipolar. And so he actually went through like, he has a whole program using energy work to heal bipolar, because he's like, I do think it triggered bipolar, but I think it's a healable, I think you can heal it without medication. And so I took her through the whole program, but it was really cool. So that's one. And then, oh my gosh, what is wrong with my brain today? What was my other one? Oh, I went and saw an angel reader, and she had never been into this work. Like, she didn't have a spiritual background, nothing, but she was a super big alcoholic, and she was like killing herself basically from alcoholism. And she said she like was passed out on the ground in a bathroom, and she opened her eyes, and she goes, there's a reason we don't see angels. She's like, they're scary as heck. Like, she's like this huge angel with like all its, she's like, I was like paralyzed. I couldn't even move. She's like, I was so freaked out. And they just said like, you're doing this work now. And now she sees angels. She can talk to them. She communicates with them. And it totally got her out of her alcoholism. And she was able to like go help people. And she's amazing. Yeah.
And I think sometimes it takes moments and visions like that to save people's lives, to save other people's lives.
Yeah.
She's
Absolutely. Yeah. It was an incredible story. I was like, what?
But if you ask why, we don't have the answer to it today. These are all very mystical things.
Divine intervention.
Yes.
You're so far off your path, and they're like,
You're doing this.
Yeah.
Right. It takes a show up. And maybe for another podcast, maybe you could get Reese on here, because she has an insane journey working at demons and angels, and her abilities are phenomenal. We're definitely going to Arizona to show with her.
I know, we need to.
Yes, Reese, we're coming to get you.
Thanks for yawning on our videos, dude.
She's like, you're boring the crap.
Thank you for subscribing to Tess, because our guest is bored. Oh my God.
She traveled yesterday.
Are you getting it down? Sorry, we're
I'm
boring
jet lagged.
you. Sorry, we're boring you.
You're so funny. We cut that out.
No, that's a weird stuff.
No, I love it.
Come with some interesting questions then. See, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is like Kiki. This is fun.
I learned a new word today, guys. Kiki.
No, last night.
Yeah, okay, last night. Kiki.
I said, we're going to have a Kiki. She goes, what is that?
Kiki. Okay, I can come Kiki with you guys.
This is the Kiki.
That's my sister's name.
Yeah, it's a name. Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to like touch on for like another segment that would be great?
Yeah. No, but I leave it up to you.
Oh, the shade.
But it better be a good question, Lolo.
You want the mic?
I know, right? No. I guess what would be like, what's the next step? We're coming off of such a beautiful weekend. Tomorrow we have the big ceremony with Cinderella, which I wish everyone would be a part of. That's so cool.
She's magical.
That's a really special journey, is just to have that plant-based experience, and the meditation and then the breath work is huge.
I love how you say plant-based.
Because I can't, as in that word. That mushroom word.
No, I would say plant medicine.
Plant medicine.
That's the word. Yeah.
What's the hard
Plant-based is like you're vegan.
Plant medicine. What's a really hard word I can't say?
Psilocybin.
Yes, that word. That's that word.
Yes. But plant medicine encompasses all like the sacred plant medicine, basically, that we work with to access another altered state where we could access our subconscious, where memories lay dormant, where some stress and trauma is stored, and
released.
Yes, and then released. So that is beautiful work to do with sacred plant medicine. It helps to create new neural pathways, so we can override old programming and reset the nervous system. And that's what we do in the ceremonies.
And that's why we met.
Yeah,
because
that's why we met.
I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and then he was talking about all these studies he'd been a part of where they'd use
psilocybin.
Psilocybin. That's a hard psilocybin.
To help people with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
And they had better results than with medication.
Mm-hmm.
And because people in my family struggle, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find someone that does this. So I called the lady that signed me up and was like, who does Tony recommend? Like, where do I find someone? She's like, Tony can't recommend it. It's not legal everywhere.
No. Oh, okay. He's smart.
Yeah. And I was like, dang it. And she's like, but I know someone. And so she gave me Cindy's number. And I was like, Cindy? You didn't tell me her name was Cinderella. That's the best name ever.
I actually hate it when you are telling a story and they're like, Cindy. I'm like,
right?
No. Yeah. Cinderella is Cinderella name as well.
Yeah, I stick to it. It's my birth name.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm super blessed to have met Tess. She came with her 2 daughters, and the focus on there was then, so-called generational trauma. Yes, like we all pass things on, willingly, unwillingly, knowingly, not knowingly. And we did a beautiful ceremony with a few others, outdoor in nature. And that had a big impact. And she owns several businesses, but one of them is a beautiful metaphysical store full of crystals. And I thought, like, wow, let's go throw a beautiful ceremony. She lives close to Seattle, in her store, surrounded by all the crystals and good vibes. And that happened last year. And we have I call it my soul family in Seattle. Beautiful, wonderful women. All very empowered and open-minded and spiritually developed. So I love coming here. And time for another ceremony.
I love it.
And we only met the one time under the beautiful pepper tree in San Diego. And then the next time I saw her, she was staying at my house. And I was like, I feel like, how is she not scared? Like, there was just like this, such a good connection that it was like, I was like, I guess it's weird to have a stranger over, but she doesn't feel like a stranger. Like, and then she met Lolo last time she was here, and then stayed with Lolo this time after one time a meeting. And it's like, you can just feel the connection. Like, it's so different than.
I have to tell
it's very special.
Story. Yeah. So I knew you met Cinderella and you were going to take your girls on a little retreat. That's all I knew. And then I was at the hair salon, another one of Tess's businesses, and I was like, she was Gemini. I am hosting a ceremony this Sunday. You want to come? I'm like, absolutely. And she's like, oh, well, Cinderella flies in Thursday. And I'm like, she's staying with me. And I'm like, all right. Oh, you don't even know her. It's the Capricorn Virgo in me. And then she goes, hey, by the way, Cinderella has a free day. Do you want to entertain her? I'm like, no, I'm entertaining a stranger. Yeah. I'm having this private conversation. And then I meet Cinderella and I'm like, whoa. This is magic. We're family. And then I started working with Cinderella. I've been working with her for 6 months now. I still have a long way to go. That's the part people don't understand.
Yeah.
Is it takes, we've even talked about years. It takes, like, it's going to take that. And now when I said, hey, I know that Tess is really busy. Her strong suit is not hosting, because she's told me that. My sweet friend has told me that. I said, come stay with me. comes in. So it's like, it was almost like you just, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know the stranger.
And then you're like, come in my house.
Like, come be in my space. Yeah, it's really beautiful what we have.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sisterhood.
It is a beautiful system.
Yeah, and I've always asked for that, and like slowly more of these sisters are popping up, and it's coming. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And like you said, actually, when you said it does take a lot of work, it's not one reading, it's not one human design, it's not one coaching session, not one ceremony.
No.
These things are all initiations and pieces of the puzzle for like a longer ongoing process towards transformation. And yeah, for everyone who's doubting and watching this, like it doesn't go fast enough, will I ever get there? Yes, you will.
Yeah.
But the purpose is not the end goal. There will never be an outcome. You will never be healed. You will never receive your full answers.
No.
It's just slowly unfolding in life. It's always growing.
It's about the journey. You have to, have to go into. You have to be able, and I am one of those people, I want to give another testimony of like, I don't want to go to the mud. I'm the most amazing person I've ever met. Like, I am so high vibrating. And then it's like, well, shit, I got to get through the, sorry if I cussed on that station. I got to get in the mud, man. Because Cinderella took me through it. And I was really honest with Cinderella. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And she's like, well, we have to.
Yeah, because without darkness, there's no light, and vice versa.
Yeah.
There is no good without bad. We live in a world of contrast. That's the third dimensional realm. That's how we know where we stand and how we feel. So if we only want to be high vibrating and like, I'm happy, I'm good, I want to stay here, you're actually fearing the other side. But to be whole, you need to experience all. We have the dark and the light within.
Absolutely. So,
And I think there's that little bit of an ego. Like, I did it for a long time. Like, even before I went to see you, I was like, I don't need a ceremony. Like, I'm magic. Like, I already did all this.
the same thing as me. I was like,
Yeah. I was like, I'm going for my kids. Like, I'm just going to go be a support and hang out. And then, like, I mean, 5 minutes in, I'm bawling. And I'm like, I guess I needed it.
Yes, you discovered something.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's not weakness.
No.
That's not that there's something wrong.
Right.
Like the vulnerable space for people feels weak a lot of times, but it's part of us. We have all these different moduses inside and parts of us, and we gotta integrate them all.
Yeah. I remembered what I was going to say earlier.
thank the gods.
What?
She go ahead with her memory came.
Remember, I couldn't remember. Okay. Rewind. I was gonna say that I think when you're first starting your journey, you want, at least for me, I just wanted to see every psychic and every healer and do every like experience out there. And every time I wanted to make a decision, I was like, I need a psychic. I need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
My poor mentor was probably like, use your own intuition, lady. But I was like, you just want someone else to do it for you. And then I noticed that as you go on the journey and you start developing that muscle, like readings weren't the same anymore.
No.
Like you're like, I already know that.
Yes.
Like, dang. You tell me something new. Yeah. And I used to get so excited about a reading. And
And it's like, oh.
yeah. And then I'd pay all this money to see like some huge like psychic or healer. Yeah. And they'd tell me everything. I'm like, I guess I knew that. Like, dang.
Yeah.
But it's still fun, and it's still nice to get the what's the word, like confirmation, I guess, from someone else. But I think it's really fun when you can do it with like your sisters and like in a group.
Yeah.
But I still love seeing readers and healers, but it is a different experience when you've like passed that certain threshold.
Absolutely.
Someone like Cinderella, who is very gifted, just as gifted as you, she goes to you for guidance and downloads and conversation. And so it's like, it's not like one person has everything to know. We all need each other.
Yeah. Well, and like we talked to each other before we did a live the other day, and she ended up giving me a coaching session. You know, like we're like, do we want to do a live? And so it's like you just help each other and like, and I think when you can allow someone else to also be a teacher, or allow someone else to have as much knowledge or more knowledge than you in a certain area, and not feel like you have to know everything or you have to be the best one. Like, it's such a good place to be.
Yeah, I love hopping from being the educator, the teacher, the leader to, but now I'm the student. Now I'm in the receiving end.
Yeah.
All right. And I love that energy still. And what is a little bit tricky part maybe for all of us is that when you're in a position of leadership, guidance, the counselor for people, then it's some people find it hard to then be also still be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like as if the healer cannot be weak. It's like the healer can't have things that are wrong in their life because now maybe they don't look up to me anymore. Take me serious.
Right.
Which I didn't do. I cried with you. I cried with you.
That's a vulnerability. Yeah.
Because it doesn't take away from the gifts that I have or ceremonies or coaching.
In fact,
that
it makes it more real because you're not just anyone who's saying there's nothing wrong and they never feel bad. There's no way. We're human, like we cationers. So when you're holding that, like, I'm just higher and mightier, I don't think it has as much value as someone who's willing to say, like, well, I'm breaking too, here we go.
Yeah. And it makes it relatable. And it's like, well, I can do the work too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And look how you can look up to that person and say, man, I really think they're amazing. And look at them. Oh my gosh, they feel broken too. That means I could feel how they feel and still be okay that like it's part of the path. We're all on the journey. You're not just healed and now everyone's looking up to how do I get there, No,
true.
Yeah.
No, if we would have reached enlightenment, we wouldn't be walking around on earth anymore.
No. And I'm not ready to leave. So
no,
let's honor our flaws
and imperfections while we can still be healers, readers, coaches. And of course, we got to be healed and have an understanding about ourselves to a certain extent. Yes.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that we're perfect or, have all our ducks in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
are we wrapping it up?
Okay.
Lolo just told us we have to wrap it up. So.
Yeah, that's it then.
Okay, yep. So that was Tess, Cinderella, and Lolo show.
Well, yeah.
And until next time. Yep. We'll see you soon.